trying to put the key in the door, and the key didn't work. So I tried to jiggle it, it didn't work. So I said, wait a minute, you mean tell me, change the key on me, change the lock. So I went back to my car and I turned on the radio because they knew I had to come on. And it was Mike Reeves, who I had trained. He's a minister. I sent him to Jesus. He was on the air doing my show. So I realized that Bert Childs didn't have the guts to fire me to my face. So I'm sitting in the car listening to him. I had trained his little chump. And then something said, look up. I looked up in the engineer's room, had a light on. So I drove my car up, and it's very high. I couldn't jump up to it, so I stood on top of the hood. I said, Nick Bodie. He said, yeah. I said, you know who I am? Yeah. I said, you know I'm crazy, don't you? He said, yeah. I said, then open that door. He said, I ain't got nothing to do with this. He opened the door and ran. And I'm coming down the hall, I see Mike Reeves, and he see me, and we made eye contact. He left the studio. So I went in, I opened up the microphone, I started moving furniture. Hello, this is Les Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be no music today. Bert Childs fired me, but he didn't have the guts to do it to my face. Bert Childs, I know you're listening, you punk! Come on down and fire me to my face. And I started moving furniture and blocking the door so they couldn't get in, you know. They called the Upper Arlington police. I'm just putting clamps and everything in front of the door. And so I said, there will be no music. I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. It's my last day. So finally they sent the Upper Arlington police up there. So they came and knocked on the window. And I'm looking at them. Open the door. I said, can't hear you. Open the door. You're under arrest for trespassing. You are not supposed to be here. You've been fired. I said, I can't open the door. He said, why not? I said, because all of this furniture is in front of the door. It's too much work to move it, and I've been fired, as you say. So they made some phone calls, and they got somebody to come in, and they started sawing the thing, cutting the thing, cutting around the hinges and everything, take the door off the hook. You know how crazy the days are, all right? So I said, hey, can y'all hear? They tried to saw the door down. Yep, this is my last day. Everybody come in, and they handcuffed me. So, it's true. I told anybody come up and said, tell you I was crazy. So they handcuffed me, break me out. I believe in angels, so they break me out front. They got me all handcuffed and everything. So it was Lieutenant Jackson who became the sheriff, who became the top law enforcement officer in Columbus. He came and he said, when he got in there, he said, take the handcuffs off him. He said, you're from Columbus, Ohio. We're up Arlington Police, so you understand that. But you can't take him out in handcuffs. He said, he's under arrest for trespassing. We told him to leave the studio, he did not. He said, have you looked outside? He says, no. He said, you need to look outside. Looked outside, over 3,000 people had packed the parking lot. He said, there's no way you're going to get from this building to your car with him in handcuffs, just the two of you. They said, well, we'll call for backup. He said, pick up the phone. The lines have been cut. So he said, Les? I said, yes? He said, promise me you won't come back here anymore. I said, I promise. I said, will you take these handcuffs off and my face is itching? He said, you promise? I said, man, I'm through here. I promise. I'm not coming back anymore. So they uncuffed me, wiped my nose. I came out, people were cheering, hey, Les, hey, Les. And all I could think about, Marion White said, anybody ever been laid off or fired? Raise your hand. Marion White said, in life, when you don't have enough courage or insight to know you have outgrown a situation, life will move on you. had outgrown that situation. You had outgrown that situation. And here I was, barricading myself in a control room. And life was saying, look, come out. I got more for you. Helen Keller says, when one door closes, another door opens. The door that had opened for me when I left there, I went from being a disc jockey to being elected to the Ohio legislature. I passed 14 bills my first term. I was elected 3 more times, became the chairman of the Human Resource Committee and the Education Committee. And then my mother became ill from breast cancer. And I promised her at 10, Mama, when I turn 18, you'll never pay another bill. Mama, when I turn 18, I'll be a man. I'm going to sit you down. See, I was raised an old-fashioned way. That a man, I'm not talking about a grown boy, a man takes care of his woman. My mama said, if you got a wife and a job, and she got a husband and a job too, one of them's got to go. And so a man pays the bills. And so I said, when I turn 18, you will never pay another bill. From that time until she turned 89, she never paid another bill. I took care of her. And I can tell you that then I went from being the legislator to being a community activist. And then I went to an event and saw Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, and I decided I wanted to become a motivational speaker. Then I produced 8 specials for public television. Then I had my own syndicated talk show that paid me $5 million for. It's the highest rated, fastest canceled talk show in the history of television. Well, at least I had one. You didn't have one. After that, all of that was in my future. And I did not know that. Let us say together, be open to the possibility.
Be open to the possibility.
Stay the course.
Stay the course.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Be persistent.
Be persistent.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
And so what happened was that through doing multi-level marketing, I learned how to be patient. That you have to probably take 3 to 5 years to build a good foundation. But once it's built, in the beginning, you have to do a lot of things that you don't get paid for, but after you build that foundation, you get paid for a lot of things that you don't do. And I learned patience and persistence and perseverance. I developed people skills. And then I used to watch Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar, and I visualized myself that one day I want to be on stage with him. I remember going to those events and I would be motivated, fired up, and my heart would say, I can do that. And then I would leave, and then once again, my past, my mental conditioning. Les Brown, you can't do that. You were born in an abandoned building on a floor. You don't know who your parents are. Les Brown, you can't do that. You were labeled educable mentally retarded. You were put back from the 5th grade to the 4th grade and failed again in the 8th grade. Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have any college training. You never worked for a major corporation. What makes you think that you can stand up and speak on stage to thousands of people? What makes you think that you have something to say that somebody wants to listen to you? And Mike Williams, my mentor, he said, Les Brown, you can do more than be a disc jockey, man. Don't worry about them. They fired you from WVKO. Don't try and go to another radio station, man. You got more in you. How many had somebody see something in you didn't see in yourself? Raise your hands, please. Write this down. Get somebody in your life who can see what you can't see. Who can see what you can't see. He saw this, Les Brown. I didn't see it. Sometimes you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. The people who selected you, the people who recruited you, they saw something in you that you don't see right now. At this point of awareness, at this point of development. But as you stay the course, as you are patient, as you go to seminars, as you go to workshops, as you do the presentations, as you face all the no's and rejections and all of the things that people can say and signify to discourage you, as you weather that storm, you discover something about yourself. You'll be born again. You'll die to who you are now to give birth to who you must become. I am evidence of that. I am proof of that. And I just had my mindset. I want you to hold the vision of what it is you want to achieve on a personal level. My first personal goal was